Welcome back, everybody. Let's talk about the new dually swap truck. This was probably one of the more favored conversions that I've done in the last year or so. If any of the projects, really, putting a dually swap on a single wheel 3500 with mega cab flares. We're going to address a couple things that you guys pointed out in that video, such as need to hook up these lights right here. So I'm going to have to make some stuff. But then talking about how much the front tires are like sucked back in. Now these are 19.5 American Force wheels. I do have a 4-inch dually spacer in there. If you guys can see that, that's a factory spacer. Honestly, I knew it was going to be sticking or sucked in a lot, but I wanted to put these flares on it because it hides paint damage underneath there. That's why I did that. Plus, I think it gives a nice look to it. So I'm going to do what you guys requested. I'm going to put a 2-inch spacer on it. Kind of against my own wishes because I don't really trust aluminum spacers. But we're going to give her a shot and see how she plans out. You guys didn't really approve when I put 6 inches worth of spacers on the front of Grandma's truck when I had these same 4-inch blocks out in the front like that. But, you know, we're here to please. We'll go ahead and do one other quick test because this is something people said. The shop floor is level, okay? Well, let's check. Somebody said I need to level the truck. It is leveled. That is what the 2-inch blocks on the front do as well. I just like to point that out because there's a couple things that people were saying that didn't quite make sense, and I had a good laugh about those. Let's go up here. The short studded ones. These short ones still have more aluminum in here holding it. They're the same studs in those long ones back there, but they are got less bite. So we'll use these. Put a 2-inch block out the front. And they're not hub centric, but I'll show you guys how we'll fix that. It's already 4 inches worth of spacer right there. So we're going to put another 2 on there. So that's 6 inches on those ball joints. 6 inches. May not be a lot to some people. Wait. I'm just going to comment and throw a fit about doing this. Go back and read the other comments about how everybody wanted to do this. And I'm going to hold them liable for the awkwardness and the sketchiness of it. Just kidding. I take responsibility for my own actions. I kind of want to do this anyway to see what it looks like. I am more than likely going to delete this later on. Wait, I forgot a step. Hang on. These wheel spacers are not hub centric. They do not have a hub for the wheel to line up on. So what I'm going to do is take the step bit and just put a little step right here, just a little one, and I'm going to use 2 of these other lug nuts to get it centered. There, lucky boys. Now she's centered up. Honestly, I freaking love the look of a 5500 with the flares on it. How it sticks out. 5500 will probably stick out another 2 inches past that. So, she looked good though. I mean, that's compared to this side. Big difference. Big difference. I'm at defeat right now because I do not trust these. We're already running into issues. First of all, the studs do not stick out that far for the good looking. I mean, they're not really good looking, but the factory lug nuts. So I got these other ones, but I mean, they go all the way down. They get good bite, but I don't know what their deal is because I've already stripped 2 of them out, and I'm only hitting it with a 30-inch breaker bar. So until I get the correct wheel spacers, you guys get an idea how they look. Looked real good. I have no problems with that other than I do not trust these wheel spacers. We're gonna go ahead and change gears because I'm not gonna get too hung up on that. We got other stuff to do. If you guys have a place that has those for sale that are hub centric, that are actually rated for a decent amount of weight, or put the link in a comment below rather, I'd really appreciate that, because I would not mind making that stand out. I'm not going to take the flares off because there's a big beauty scar underneath there, so we don't want to deal with seeing a big scar, and I don't want to paint this truck, and I like those flares on the front because they match the back ones. So let's go ahead and wire up these on the back end. I think I'm going to rob some power off of something back there, but we got to pop these screws out so we can get to the plug-ins. Did I tell you guys I lost my 3/8 Milwaukee? No idea what happened to it. Had to fire up the old computer, get me a new one. So we got to sneak this wire back in there somehow. Gosh dang it. Kind of wish I had thought about this before I put that plastic in there, but... not the back side. I'll hook them up before I put that flare back. Hey boy, got power right there. I was hoping I could just plug that straight into it, but it's got a different plug-in. Let's see here. Manufacture it so it'll just clip right in there. Let's try that. You see the difference? This is for license plate, but they haven't worked in years, so we don't care. Oh look, going old school. And no, I didn't find any other plug-in. If I did, too late. Just like that. Let's see if they work. Boom, boom. There. And for the DOT people, we are legal. DOT rule says any lights that are installed on the vehicle, if used in commercial use, or probably regular use too, I guess, is a fix-it ticket if the light is installed and it is not lit. And all other lights are lit, or however the thing is actually written down. Still got that one tire on there like that though. I don't know. Out there, the irony of this whole thing. The dually swap, I went to extra effort so I can make sure I get the right differential for the rear end, so I do not need to put in these wheel spacers on it so I can trust it. And then, quote, I need wheel spacers on the front. I mean, that's 4 inches of block on the front versus 6 on the other side. It just, I'll be straight up with you guys, I don't really care for running these spacers, but it does look good and it does look appropriate. But I'm just a little bit worried about the outcome if something were to break or something like that. I mean, I'll show you guys what it looks like inside. How much bite those things actually have. It is aluminum block, but so far, you guys know the truck's leveled. You know that why I'm not pulling the front fender flares off. You know why. I mean, what else was there to it? I just needed to fix those lights and that. But so here's one. I pulled the stud out of it. There is, how much can you guys see down in there? I need to get the light on you. There's a pretty good bite right there. That is, I'm going to say, easy 5/8. But same thing goes with the other sides. There's about 5/8. This big old block. That's about as thick as the rim. Maybe these will be all right. That's about how thick the rim is. The rim's about 5/8. Pull it back in here and put those on the other side. I mean, I'm going to run it for a little bit, but my concerns are definitely pretty heavy. I'm going to clip you guys into something else that happened to me earlier on this week. I'm about done with the glow shift gauges. I know you guys warned me about those in the past, but this one didn't really cost me anything. It made me do something I needed to do. But I've been running 7 years glow shift gauges on this truck. I only had one fail. The fuel pressure kind of fluctuates, but I run fuel pressure, boost, and pyrometer. With stick shift trucks, that's all I really care to run. And I have glow shift on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks, and I haven't had bad issues with them. They seem to all be pretty consistent and show accurate to what my understanding of accurate is. And well, that changed. So I'm gonna clip you that, and then we'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. All right, boys, I wasn't even gonna document this, but it's kind of not really making me mad, just as a learning curve. But this is old cowboy truck. I posted up for sale. I've had some offers very reasonable for what I'm asking for it. I said yes to a few of them, but people flake no showed. Same thing with a lot of trade offers. I was trying to get something new and different for the channel, but all in all, I've gone through this truck top to bottom, but I said if I was ever gonna keep it, I would wanna put a fuel pressure gauge on it to monitor their lift pump pressure. Because you know, these 24 valves with a VP44, if you lose lift pump pressure, the VP44 injection pump will pump itself, trying to maintain that pressure so they can continue to run the engine. It'll end up destroying the injection pump. So if I was gonna keep it, which I've been kind of taking this thing to work and it's been pretty nice, I wanted to put a lift pump pressure gauge on it so I can see what it's doing. Minimum is 7. So I had this glow shift gauge. It was brand new. I used it once on grandma's truck and put a bigger one on it later on. But this thing was showing I had 5 PSI, which is too low. So I put a new fuel filter in it. Didn't help anything. It was still, well, it showed 6, so it helped a little bit. And then it went back down to 5. So I said, screw it. I'll keep this truck for a while. I'll run it through winter. I want to put a fast 95 on it. We had this on the shelf in inventory. This son of a gun still showed 5 PSI. So I put a mechanical gauge on it. Crawl up here and show you guys. This sucker down there, midline, was showing 16 PSI just as it should. That people have been telling me for a while now that this dang gauge right here, glow shift, stay away from them. I literally have these gauges on every truck. But this gauge right here, I mean, it's something I should have done anyways, put a fast on this thing, just be done with it, not have to worry about it. It'll be good for me, good for the next owner, no more worries. But I'm not gonna buy any more of the glow shift stuff. I'm sorry, but that was the last straw. It cost me a day yesterday putting this thing all together and pain in the butt. So I'm gonna put an even cheaper one on it right now, just to see what it does. I bought an oil pressure gauge off of Amazon for like 12 bucks or something. Maybe it's 30, I don't know, it's real cheap. I'm gonna put it on there and see what it says. I know the mechanical gauge I put on it showed 16, so we'll see what the cheap ones. Look at that. The freaking, what is that, a Reagan gauge is more accurate than I mean, glow shift. People have given me some real hard times. But, I mean, this cheaper option was better than this one. What the heck? More accurate. And check this out too. I run these cheap gauges. They were just easy to get. I needed one in like 2 days. So you fire up Amazon. I just use a little visor off the any other gauges, and I just screw it to the pillar. So I can just run one. I don't need the whole blinding big old pillar mount thing over here. Second thing is, these are oil pressure gauges that I'm using right here. I have oil pressure gauge on grandma's truck, same one. Sometimes it hiccups, goes up and down, but at any point right now, I wanted to see how accurate it was versus the glow shift gauges versus a mechanical gauge, and this thing's pretty close to the mechanical. But on grandma's truck, it fluctuates up and down based off of what the factory one down there says. Seems pretty accurate. Then I put one on my 70 Challenger also. I mainly just wanted to try these out. I bought one for the car to see how it worked because I needed one in 2 days because I didn't have an oil pressure gauge when I first got that car. So using one for a fuel pressure, it seems to do what I want. $13 to $16 is what you want out of VP40. 13 to 16, somewhere in there. That's what you want out of a VP44. Since it's an oil pressure gauge, it still leaves the light on saying that you're low on pressure because, yeah, you want more than that for oil pressure. But this truck fires right up like a boss. So that's going to be nice to have. Well, this should make you guys happy as well. What the heck is this? Big old tennis ball. Got it. This was requested. Some clear running lights for the top. Put these on real quick. Oh yeah. Man, talk about an improvement. Matches the OG headlights. You got those runners. You got that. Orange back there. What are you doing? We'll leave that. Don't worry about that little guy. Well, I just got off the freeway, and well, we got a vibration at about 60, 65 mile an hour. The steering wheel wants to do a little, not that exaggerated, but I didn't film it, put it that way. So that hub-centric wheel spacers are very much needed, and it's a brand new front end underneath this truck. Everything's replaced. Tie rod, ball joint, stabilizer, wheel bearings, the whole nine, except for the steering box. So nothing of that's to blame. It's just that goofy experiment we got under the front. In this video for everybody, the old truck ain't looking too shabby these days for 337,000 miles on it. Still got those 6 inches worth of spacers on the front. I'm kind of iffy about them still, but I put a decent amount of miles on it since I filmed that clip, putting them on there. Everything seems to be good up until you get to highway speed. Then you get a little vibration. I went ahead and did a little step bed action on every one of these just so I can get these, you know, because they got like a funnel now for these little lug nuts to go in there. So it really tried to center it the best I could. Still got a slight vibration. It's nothing too extreme, but I don't like everything not working the way it should. So obviously these spacers aren't what I need. You can see the hub centric on the original dually spacer in there, so that it'll line everything up centered perfectly, but we're just a little bit off. Even the best efforts with the step bit, she no go. But if we get those right ones on there, should be good. Rock and roll. Waiting on my buddy to bring back my he borrowed my, see, I got the rails for the fifth wheel thing. I got the adapter for the gooseneck ball. He brought the gooseneck ball back, but he forgot to bring me the pins. So I think he's working today, but hopefully this weekend I can get a little towing video, see how she does. Get those pins so I can run the plate. This thing, I towed about 25,000 pounds before with it with a single wheel. Isn't bad, except for the biggest complaint, obviously it's got smaller-ish brakes. Handles just fine as long as, I mean, good trailer brakes should suffice as well, so you got to have a good combination overall. But it's got 373s, which is a little bit tall for taking off with heavy loads. It's good for highway gears, but for towing, 410s would definitely be more appropriate. But, you know, she is what she is. Good looking truck, I would say. Pretty happy with how this whole swap turns out. Like I said, I wasn't going to wash it because look what happens immediately. It's freaking wintertime. It just gets dirty again. See you guys in the next one. Let me know what you guys think. If you have a place to order one of those 2-inch spacer that's a very heavy duty spacer, because I don't have any experience with those, but if you got some actual hands-on experience and know where to get some good spacers, let me know. We'll see you guys in the next one for a towing video. Later.